Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. It's Thursday, and today I have taken a request. I got a question, and the question was, why do I use 2 amps in my signal paths? It's a really good question. Let's find out why. The why is harder to answer than the how. And the how I'm going to show you in 3 different ways today. I remember when I first heard about the Helix and the possibility of using 2 amp models at the same time. I thought, that's awesome. Fender, Vox, let's do that. Marshall, Bogner, fuck yeah. You know, it's thinking like that excited me about the Helix at first. And it's become a way of life for me as far as the Helix is concerned, using 2 amps at the same time, always. The only time I don't is when I need to, you know, maybe put vocals into a signal path. Although then, I still made it work. This morning I made a custom preset for a guy. It had 2 amps into 1 IR and then a vocal path below it. Mission accomplished. So, let's go to the Helix. I will show you what is up. All right, this is the first method that I use for running a pair of amps. 2 signal paths, one run into the other, and a pair of amps and a pair of IRs. That's my standard method. On this one, this is basically, these are the settings from from yesterday's Name That Riff, for the one that went. I just took all of the modulations out and the reverbs out, and just stripped it down to its bare necessities. A compressor, 2 amps, 2 IRs. This is here just because you need to have something here to create this path. So I always put a volume pedal in there because it uses the least amount of DSP, and then I always bypass it. Now, the amps today, the Derailed Ingrid, which is new, and the Interstate Z. Now, let's isolate and go to the A100, which is the top amp. Very cool. Now we'll hear the difference. The bottom amp by itself. It's much cleaner. And it's a little bit quieter too, so let's give it a little bit of volume. I have to turn down my overall volume, but so here's the bottom one again. And I just love combining amps like this because I end up with something that's greater than the sum of its parts. And that's my first method. Method number 2, here's what we do. We take this amp, we'll copy it, put it up here. And then we'll clear this. And I don't need this anymore, so we can get rid of that. And I don't need this either, so let's clear that. But what I do need to do is to take the bottom path, turn the joystick to the right, and then go back to the merge point, and then hit Action, and then join it to the top. And let's just move it back here. I need to run it in front of the IR though, otherwise it'll sound like crap. Want to hear what it sounds like without running in front of it? Now let's run it in front of it. Oopsie. Now we're hearing both amps into 1 IR. You've got to be a little bit more careful with your choice of IRs then. And this is actually a really good choice for that. I would roll up the low cut a bit. But since this is a, you know, relatively clean sound, we can go with, you know, a Bad Cat 212. and it sounds pretty cool. That's method number 2. Now, method number 3 is, what was the third one? I know I had a third one. Yeah. Well, you can do completely separate. If you go like this, there's another method. Let me copy this again. Take it down here. Paste it. Let's get rid of it from here. So now we've just got a top path. You know, you can just make this one also into the same kind of thing. Give it a gate. Very mild gate, of course. And I don't need that to be so aggressive. Blah, blah, blah. Put in an IR. And let's use a fender just for fun. Got to set the low and high cuts because otherwise it just doesn't sound like an actual speaker cabinet that way. So now we've got the 2 amps. I haven't changed a single setting on the amps themselves. And another thing that I like to do, and see, this is 2 completely discrete signal paths. They are separate in every way. Let me see here. So I guess that is the third method. I prefer the first one where I connect them, because then I can use the same compressor. What I would do normally is I would actually come down here and put down another compressor and just do the do this bad boy with its basically with its stock settings, but a little bit more, a lot less mix. And that is the third method. So, you know, there are ways to do this. You can have as many as, you know, if you're not running a ton of extra effects, you can have 4 amps in a preset. You can do this. Throw another amp in here. Let's throw in this voltage queen. Drop it down. Make sure this goes before that. Even split. Move this over. And then make the merge point. Hit action. Put it before the IR. So now we have 3 amps. The tone's slightly changing. I would probably put, you know, since up here we've got a bad cat, I'd probably put, I'd love to have at least 1 high watt 5A in a clean type of setting, because it gives it some bottom end. You can just feel it. It feels more like a real amp than just using 212s or 112s. And that's one of my secrets. Now we can take another amp. Just go nuts here. And another amp that would sound good, clean, that we haven't used yet. How about a Vox? Do the same thing we did. Hit the action button. Set the merge point. Make it into an even split. There we go. I like to have everything nice and neatly stacked. And go over here. Take this. Hit action. Run it before the IR. Now we have 4 amps. 2 IRs. And why not? Huh? There you go, everybody. Oh, good times. I just love doing it. And I think you should experiment with as many of these amps as you can. And the new ones are really fun. I used a couple of them this morning in some custom presets I made, and I'm really enjoying the derailed Ingrid. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be, but I like it a lot. It's good. It's like a modified Dr. Z. or a Dr. Z with a, with a boost pedal in front of it. I dig it. Yeah, good stuff. I will be back tomorrow with a Preset Friday. And I'm starting a new preset package, another 80s preset package. I'm not sure if it's going to be 80s rock, 80s pop, but I think it's going to be something fun 80s. I got to think of a name for it by Monday. I have my work cut out for me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, rock on.